All right, what I want to talk about today is a solution I came up with for a 6-bike rack strapped to the top of my minivan. We were taking a 1,000-mile family trip. Wanted to take my bikes along. I didn't see any other good options, either for a roof rack or a hitch rack for 6 bikes all in one. So I decided to make my own, and here's generally what I did. First thing I did is I measured the width of the tires, and each tire is about 2 inches. By the way, I only have 5 bikes up in here, but there are spots for 6. I measured the width of the tires, and then I laid these end boards out on the ground, and I spaced them out evenly and had 2 inches in between each of these spots here. And I did this for the front board and the back board of the frame. And so I kind of marked them out, and then I bought 6 12-foot 2x4s, made sure they were straight, cut them in half so they're each 6 foot long, and I made an identical board like this in the front with these marks on them, and then I screwed them in too. So I basically made a frame. I'll get to this one in a second. You see it's cut here in the middle, but it still has a spot for the tire in the front and the back. Another important thing is I used the Torx screw heads, the Star screw heads here. They're much easier to use than Phillips. And I used 3.5-inch screws, so they're very stable and sturdy. So I laid this out, built it on the floor of my garage. And then what I also did is I have 2 crossbars here. This crossbar and this crossbar. And they are screwed up in the bottom to this frame. And so I built this whole frame, and then I put it on top, and I had these existing bars that run front to back on my minivan. And I bought U-bolts that go underneath this bar and attach this whole frame to the U-bars, or the rails that go front and back on my vehicle. Now, I'll go around front here and see I just got back from I took this on a 1,000-mile trip. Everything worked really well. And I'll talk about the strapping here in a little bit. But any solution that I came up with was going to cost about $600 for a manufactured bike rack for 6 bikes. Okay, so what I did here is when you put the U-bolts up from the bottom first, so I had to make everything and screw everything together in my garage, and then I lifted this whole frame on top of my car, and then I put the U-bolts in. And you see here, the U-bolts go under attach it, go all the way through this one here, and come up underneath it. And I put 2 bolts in, so you put the first one down real tight, and then you screw the second one down on top of it and tighten it, and that kind of locks them together. So, very sturdy situation. And I did those U-bolts in the 4 areas that it attaches. So you see here, okay? Now, when you strap the bikes down, there's a couple things. You can see when I did strap a bike down, I strapped them not only to the frame in certain spots, but down here to the rails that run along the minivan to give it additional support. And really what I found is if you strap the edge bikes together really well, strap them down, so I have a strap going from the handlebar down to this end, then I have another one going from there down to there. So the edge bikes here are very well strapped down, and then I ran just 2 of them across front and back. Another way I did what I did in the middle here for the middle bikes. I'll show you. So look at this second bike. So I came up and attached here on the frame, and came down on either side, right here, under, over, through the bike, under again, and back up. So basically there's one strap holding these middle bikes in. It's just rock solid. So that was my solution. Now I spent about $60 on this, attaching it, and it certainly worked well. Got a lot of looks, got a lot of comments on what a great solution it was to get bikes out and back, and I measured top to bottom. It's about 9.5 foot clearance, at least on a minivan, so you'll want to measure that before you go any drive-throughs or anything like that. So I have some more modifications I think I'll make to this and improve it, and I will post a YouTube video about that too.